Okay. Yes, we are. Thank you. Let us know if there's any headlines you'd like to talk about. We love getting feedback from you, the viewer and listener. The Guadalajara on Fontaine Avenue is for sale. The asking price is $1,400,000. We'll talk about that on the show today. Like and share the show. Like and share the show, guys, on a glorious and gorgeous Tuesday in downtown Charlottesville with, I believe, a fire. Is it a fire truck outside?
It is.
Can they see that now? What's the studio camera or the Market Street camera pointing to now?
We don't use the Market Street camera anymore.
You can't just slide it over so you can still get Market Street in there?
Might be able to get it far enough out.
Clearly, you can get it far enough out. But we can do that on a different day. Which headline most intrigued you and why, Judah?
I think it's interesting that Cree Deeds is investigating Jim Ryan's departure from the presidency of UVA. I've found it very interesting that everybody seems to be wondering who was behind him leaving. Like somebody was pressuring him to leave, and I wonder if he just.
Well, the obvious pressure is the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
Federal government, but you're not buying that.
Well, that's kind of a
just a catch-can answer.
It's not a direct pressure. Like, it's not like the DOJ was pushing Ryan to leave the presidency. Now, he may have left because they were threatening to embargo UVA essentially by withholding $300 to $400 million, but that's not direct pressure. That's not somebody behind the scenes saying we want you out of the presidency. You need to leave.
All right, we'll talk about it. That's a good topic for the show. Nicely done, Judah. All right, let's rock and roll when you're ready.
Quiet on the set.
Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille show. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us on a Tuesday afternoon in downtown Charlottesville. An absolute pleasure to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille network. A lot to cover on the program. Cree Deeds asking all the right questions. He has set a deadline, a date for all communications and materials involving Jim Ryan's resignation as Cree Deeds is investigating the resignation of Jim Ryan at the University of Virginia. We'll talk about that on the show. Why did Jim Ryan resign? The easy answer is the pressure from the Department of Justice, from the Trump administration, the leverage of federal funding at the University of Virginia. And if Ryan did not resign, federal funding could have been kept in escrow or in some kind of coffer and not allocated to a university like UVA that needs the $300 to $400 million a year from the feds. That's not enough for Cree Deeds. He wants more information, and now he's leading a charge. That topic to lead the show in a matter of minutes. We're also going to talk the pros and cons of taking the UVA interim president position or title or role. Paul Mahoney, the new interim president. I would not say that this is just a pomp and circumstance title. I think Mr. Mahoney is thrown into a lion's den here. Curious of your take on that when the show matures. Not an easy role as you have political trade winds, as you have alumni, faculty, students, boosters in the athletic department, a federal government. I mean, so many different factions fighting for influence and clout at the state's premier university. We'll talk Charlottesville Public Schools. Natalie Ostrin has indicated public schools $100 million in renovation costs ahead for Charlottesville Public Schools. She highlights the need to improve certain things at public schools. For example, natural light for kids at public schools. $100 million of renovation costs ahead for the Charlottesville Public School System and their buildings. Remember, the budget for Charlottesville City as a whole, fiscal year 2026, was $265,200,000. So this $100 million request is a huge chunk of the overall budget in the city of Charlottesville. We'll talk about that on today's show. And speaking of money, on this morning's edition of the Jerry and Jerry Show with Jerry Ratcliffe, the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer, who's covered the University of Virginia for more than 50 years. His sources have confirmed with him that the University of Virginia football roster has cost the department, ladies and gentlemen, somewhere between $20 million and $30 million, with the number closer to 30 than 20. I want you to think about that. The current makeup of the Virginia football roster has run the athletic department and its fundraisers, its boosters, its stakeholders $20 to $30 million, according to Jerry Ratcliffe sources, with that number closer to 30 than 20. Oh my, we're in a wild time for college athletics that are no longer amateur, but certainly a minor league of professional sports. We'll talk the Guadalajara on Fontaine Avenue. It's for sale. The asking price is $1.4 million. We'll talk Bob Good potentially running for Congress again. And we remind you of the debate on Friday's edition of Real Talk with Keith Smith. Scott Smith and Fred Missel will be in the House Friday at 10:15 a.m. Friday at 10:15 a.m. Get to know the candidates, Scott Smith, the Republican, and Fred Missel, the Democrat. They are running for the Samuel Miller District seat on the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors. A lot to cover on the program. Neil Williamson, hello. Bob Yarborough, hello. Georgia Gilmer, Bob Shada, Greer Achenbach, thank you for watching the program. Katie Pearl, Lonnie Murray, a lot of viewers and listeners, including print, radio, and television. Judah Wickhauer. First, I'd like to highlight Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. 61 years in business for Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. The Vermillions are 5 generations strong in Albemarle County. Their business, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, is 3 generations strong. Online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com and in person on High Street, ladies and gentlemen. They are the team behind our family swimming pool at our house, staying crystal clear blue. They have a mechanic on site for any vacuum repair, pool cleaning robot repair needs, and there's no one that has more knowledge in sanitary supply than Charlottesville Sanitary Supply guys in the Vermillion family. Studio camera 2-shot, Judah Wickhauer. Creed Deeds wants some answers. He wants the receipts, he wants the dirt, he wants the scoop on Jimbo Ryan's resignation, and he is unwilling to accept. This is purely a resignation due to Donald Trump's influence, the Department of Justice, potentially overreach and pushing Ryan out of Cars Hill. We'll talk about that today. How about Natalie Ostrin telling taxpayers that we're in the middle of a $100 million capital improvement project or campaign for Charlottesville Public Schools when, geez Louise, the budget for fiscal year 2026 is $265 million. How in God's name did Charlottesville think the Federal Executive Institute was a good idea? $100 million in current school infrastructure improvement needs, according to Counselor Natalie Ostrin. We'll talk about that today. A restaurant we love, Johnny Ornalis's Guadalajara on Fontaine Avenue, for sale with an asking price of $1,400,000. Goodness gracious, we're locked and loaded with a lot to cover today. What tickles your fancy the most?
I'm certainly curious about Creed Deeds going after the information from the Board of Visitors.
Me too.
And I hope he gets it. I believe he sent them 46 questions on August 1st, and I would be surprised if they're able to answer more than a handful of them.
And the deadline?
Deadline is August 15th for more than just that. The deadline is also for, he's asked the rector and vice rector to send all relevant documents and communications.
Wow.
We'll see. I'd love to find out more information, but I don't know if it's out there.
What interests you about this? Is it the fact that you're just not buying Ryan resign because DOJ pressure? Do you think there's more than meets the eye?
Yeah. I mean, people keep talking about him getting pushed out, but nobody's... The people involved in this are not the kind of people to, like, stay in the background. Trump loves to toot his own horn, and if he felt any elation or sense of accomplishment in getting President Ryan out of the president's seat at UVA, I think we'd have heard about it. The fact that nobody's said anything makes me feel like this was Ryan playing chess when everybody else around him was playing checkers.
And the chess moves that Ryan was making?
The chess moves he was making was, look, take their target away, and they're stumped. They don't know what to do. And that's what we're looking at. Nobody has any idea what to do. And as we've talked about in previous episodes of the I Love CVille show, Ryan is perfectly poised to take over the presidency again once the winds are blowing favorably.
Unbelievable times, guys. Lower third on the screen. Ginny Hu says on the $100 million that Charlottesville Public Schools are going to spend to renovate public schools in the city, she says, go hold class in the parking lot if you want more natural light. There's free natural light in the parking lot, Ginny Hu says. I just can't with these people. The majority of the kids aren't even getting an education, and they are more concerned with the buildings and natural light than the actual books and curriculum.
That's a great point, which ties in nicely with what we talked about the other day with where, what was it, 8th graders, I think only 29% are proficient in both reading and math.
29% of Virginia public school 8th graders, not just the city of Charlottesville, but across the Commonwealth. 29% of 8th graders in the Commonwealth in public schools are proficient in math and reading, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. Since COVID, the numbers have worsened. Ginny's made the point that they were worsening prior to the pandemic, which is a valid point from a key member of our family, Ginny Hu, but the numbers have absolutely worsened since the pandemic, where a lot of public school students lost literally 2 years of schooling. That topic in a matter of moments. We retreat to the Jim Ryan topic. Why did Jim Ryan resign? Cree Deeds has a deadline of
August 15th.
Cree Deeds wants all the communication, all the materials, anything passed between Ryan, the Board of Visitors, any correspondence in his inbox at his office by the 15th of August. And Cree Deeds is going to launch his own investigation into the resignation of Jim Ryan. And Judah and the I Love CVille show have called it Ryan playing chess when everyone else has been playing checkers. Jim Ryan is made a martyr.
Yep.
Jim Ryan has 14 months of sabbatical.
Well, continuing to make the same amount he made as president.
During those 14 months, he maintains his presidential salary for doing absolutely no work whatsoever.
He gets a staff.
After the sabbatical of 14 months, he takes a job at the law school where he's making $750,000 a year. He has a home in Earlysville. Jim Ryan, this man is looking like Nostradamus here, Machiavellian, as if he has a DeLorean or a crystal ball, and as Judah said, is playing chess when others are playing checkers. He looks like he is potentially on the short list come Spanberger's victory in early next year, or in November, and her taking office in early next year, a shortlist candidate to be reappointed president of the University of Virginia. And if that happens, if Jim Ryan is reappointed president of the University of Virginia, he will go down in history with Virginia presidents. Someone that was able to resign on his own accord, and then get reappointed potentially 6, 7, 8 months later. Be a wild time.
That would be.
Cree Deeds, we cannot wait to see the transparency and the release of your investigation. Because right now, the easy answer is to just chalk it up to Trump made him resign by saying we're not going to give UVA $300 to $400 million.
Yeah.
Wild times. Now, a perfect segue into the next headline. Judah Wickhauer, the second headline, put it on screen.
Pros and cons of taking UVA interim president position.
You take that job?
For the money? Yeah, I probably would.
For the money? The guy doesn't need the money.
If I had the skills to be the president of UVA, yeah, I'd take it. I mean, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a political position.
The interim job, the interim president, right now, is going to have to navigate the fallout of Ryan's resignation, the fallout of a challenged Board of Visitors by state Democrats, the fallout of an outgoing governor, Glenn Youngkin, the transition of a Democrat, Spanberger, who is a clear favorite to win, the fallout of faculty and staff voting overwhelmingly no confidence in the Board of Visitors,
Yep.
the fallout of the United Campus Workers of Virginia brainstorming a strike, strategizing a strike late last week, the fallout of a missing provost, the fallout of a missing CEO of UVA Health Systems, missing CEO of UVA Hospital, and missing dean of the medical school, all while the University of Virginia has become a hotbed for every political landmine that's viable in 2025. Every political landmine you have, right? You have Palestine and Israel. You have diversity, equity, and inclusion. You have Trump. You have the wealth gap, the education gap. You have racism, anti-Semitism. You have striking workers. You have an exploiting, allegedly, medical system. You have a football team that has the worst record over power conferences over the last 3 years. A football team that just spent, according to Jerry Ratcliffe this morning, nearly $30 million to rebuild its football roster. A football team that has now partnered with Costco to sell tickets because they can't sell tickets at the ticket booth. You go to Costco in Charlottesville, and on the aisles, you can buy literally 2-game passes with a parking pass, with beverage discounts at Costco next to the register, right by the National Enquirer, right by the Fruit Stripe gum, right next to the king-size Reese's peanut butter cups, football tickets to UVA at Costco. Unbelievable. This is not one of those jobs where it's just like pomp and circumstance, where it's just like a ceremonial position.
I don't know that he's going to be tasked with all of what you just mentioned. I believe there will be a lot of holding the ship steady, and I doubt he's going to be making policy for what is obviously expected to be.
So what do you think is expected of this guy? What's expected of Paul Mahoney, who is as qualified as any to be the interim president, and frankly qualified to be the actual president? Mahoney, ladies and gentlemen, the former dean of the law school from 2008 to 2016. He's going to assume the role of interim president on August 11th, which is in 6 days. This guy has been a member of the law school faculty since 1990. He's held several chairs and administrative positions before taking on the role of dean at the law school. He is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations and the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, a past member of the Investor Advisory Committee of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Prior to joining the university, Mahoney worked in private practice with New York firm Sullivan and Cromwell and clerked for Judge Ralph K. Winter Jr. of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, and Justice Thurgood Marshall of the U.S. Supreme Court.
Wow.
He's married to Julia DeLong Mahoney, who very interestingly, this is crazy, Julia DeLong Mahoney, his wife, follows I Love CVille on Instagram 3 days ago.
Nice.
I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to go on Judah's shot. Can they see me on your shot?
Yeah, they can see.
Is this I Love CVille Instagram?
It does look like it.
I go to I Love CVille Instagram. I check followers. 3 days ago, who followed us?
Julia Mahoney, UVA.
3 days ago. He's announced yesterday, and she's following us on Instagram. A wild time we live. The wife of the interim president following I Love CVille and the I Love CVille network. Is this a cake job? Is this a cake job, Neil Williamson? Ginny Who? Is this a cake job, John Blair? Is this a cake job, Deep Throat, James Watson, Bob Yarborough, Bobby Shada, Kelly Jackson, city councilors and supervisors that are watching the program? Judah, your thoughts?
I think, by all accounts, he's probably gonna not focus on, but it sounds like he's a big fan of UVA sports. I think he'll try to help shepherd sports, the UVA sports, in the right direction. I think he'll try to stay as far away from anything that even smacks of politics, and he's gonna hold the keel with the steady hand.
Is his job purely to be the dogwood parade queen, or the shaker of hands and the kisser of babies, the ceremonial, you can do this type of guy and lead with gusto, but actually materialize very little policy or change or influence at the university? Or is this guy going to roll his sleeves up and actually try to do the work? How long is this guy in office?
Yeah.
How long is he in office? If he completely stays away from the politics like you're saying, how can he actually do any work? The whole job is politics. What's his fundraising capabilities? How much fundraising will he be tasked with doing? What's his role with the Charlottesville community? Goodness gracious, he's been at the law school and been affiliated with the University of Virginia since what, 1990? Was that the number? Since 1990, a member of the law school faculty. This guy's been a member of the Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Central Virginia, and university community for 35 years.
Yeah.
Very different than Jim Ryan. Paul has institutional memory in this community. Grew up in this community, matured as a man in this community, as a husband, as a family man.
Mm-hmm.
What's he going to do with community relations, with town and gown? What's he going to do with affordable housing? What's he going to do with living wage? What's he going to do to help fortify relationships with UVA vendors, with local businesses who want to be with UVA vendors, who are screaming at the top of their lungs to the I Love CVille network and to you and I that the University of Virginia is no longer prioritizing doing business with the small businesses in Charlottesville and Albemarle and in Central Virginia, and it is now more concerned about dollars and cents and opening up its vendor relations with anyone across the world as long as they give them the best price possible.
I mean, that's pretty much all of us right now. But
is that all of us? It didn't used to be that way. Is this a cake job? Is this the dogwood queen at the Dogwood Parade, who stands at a podium, drives along on Market Street, down Preston Avenue, all the key streets in Charlottesville, sitting in the back of a 1967 Corvette, just waving her hand with a white glove on and dogwood roses and flowers in her hand. Is that what he's expected of him?
I doubt it.
Unbelievable. Does he have a chance of keeping the job?
I think the better question is, does he want to keep the job? But who knows? I mean, I would think that him keeping the job would be dependent on him wanting the job and how he appears as the president over the next few months.
Logan Wells Claylow, welcome to the broadcast. Barbara Becker-Tilley, thank you for watching the show. Deep Throat, I'm going to get to your comments on Charlottesville Public Schools and $100 million of spend with their buildings. James Watson, I'm going to get to your comments on natural light with Charlottesville Public Schools. John Blair's got a comment. His photo on screen, number 2 in the family. Jerry, I think the real question about the job is how long? If it's 6 to 9 months, that's one thing. But another scenario is that there is continuing legal and political turmoil about the BOV when Spanberger takes office in January. Could this interim post last 18 months or longer?
Oof. Yeah. I mean, that's a great question.
Does he move into Cars Hill? Does he move into the president's mansion?
Is that usually what an interim president would do?
I
don't know either. But,
I'm asking the question. Does he move into Cars Hill? Sincerely mean that. I'm asking the question. How does he address the students, the first years, and the students that arrive on grounds? I had a client, I can't wait to make the announcement. We just brokered another business close, a restaurant on the UVA corner, closed, was it Friday? When did you pick up the commission check?
Was that from...
We don't need to say what the deal is. It's not our news to announce. When did you pick up the commission check on that broker deal?
It was yesterday morning.
Was it yesterday? Closed on Friday. We picked up the commission check yesterday. Closed on Friday. I sent my clients are eager to open their business, their new business, and then ask me football game and when students arrive. UVA students start arriving the 21st of August. Classes start August 26th. The first UVA football game is August 31st. Some public schools are going back to class on Wednesday.
That's insane.
Some public schools literally are going back to class tomorrow.
How long do they have for summer break?
Well, I'll tell you what. Not as long as what I remember.
It's certainly not.
Parents are jumping for joy all around Central Virginia. Our oldest doesn't go back to school till the 19th of August. Unbelievable time. Follow it. I can't wait to see Creed Deeds' investigation. Next headline. Put it on screen. What do you got?
$100 million.
Is that from Austin Powers?
Yeah.
Did you put the pinky out?
$100 million.
When's the last time you've seen Austin Powers?
I don't know.
It's been a long time.
Over a decade.
I'm watching a wild show on Netflix right now. It's called The Hunting Wives. It is absolutely wild. This show, The Hunting Wives.
Is it
The backstabbing and the deceit and the lying and the chess and checkers
Is
and
it
the
a reality
trickeration.
show?
Oh, no, it's not a reality show.
No?
It's a Netflix original. The Hunting Wives. Goodness gracious, is it good. Natalie Oshrin, ladies and gentlemen, indicates that public schools in Charlottesville, Deep Throat, your comments coming up. Several improvements made at multiple schools in the city of Charlottesville in advance of the new school year. The price tag for the citywide educational renovation project, CVille right now has this reporting. An estimate is $100 million. $100 million. One of the renovation's major focus is offering, get this, Judah, natural light for the kids. Natural light.
I mean, that's great, but
Natural light. We're not concerned with math and reading and writing. We're not concerned with paying teachers more money, attracting more talent from a teacher standpoint. We're not concerned with textbooks. We're not concerned with SOLs. We're not concerned with grades. Security and safety. Getting kids to school on time and home on time. Keeping roaming groups, gangs of students from roaming hallways unauthorized and unsupervised. But what we're concerned with, Natalie Oshrin, is natural light. And it's $100 million. I like natural light.
Mm-hmm.
I also want kids to be able to read and write.
Yeah.
Deep Throat, number one in the family. His photo on screen. And remember, I said the fiscal year budget for the city of Charlottesville for 2026, $265,200,000. Deep Throat says, he adds a little color and context to that. It's important not to confuse capital costs and operating costs when looking at the budget. Now, $100 million is $25,000 per student for renovations, probably the typical gold bricking stupidity you would expect from CVille government. Don't get me wrong. This is Deep Throat's words. He says, and it is odd given how enrollment is very likely to fall. Remember, Weldon Cooper has indicated that local public school enrollment in Charlottesville and Albemarle County and in Central Virginia is going to downtick as parents are choosing private schools for their kids or homeschooling.
Yeah.
Deep Throat continues, but leave that aside. $100 million in capital costs is not like $100 million in operating budget. $100 million should buy us 25 to 30 years without having to spend a huge amount on capital improvements. CVille can borrow 30 years in a muni market at 4%. Level pay, 30-year bond at 4%, $100 million principal equals annual cost of $5.7 million, which is probably what the city spends on useless nonsense per quarter. Then he shares... Then he shares a graph with us on in the DMs of my Twitter account. And I can't resist sharing this chart. Enrollment is down, spending is up, and teacher salaries are lagging spending. I guess natural light must cost a lot.
Yep.
One other data point. Deep Throat says, St. Anne's Belfield Academy apparently did their entire lower school campus rebuild back in 2008 and 2010 for something like $25 million. That was a different market. Cost of goods, construction, labor have certainly escalated since then, Deep Throat. But he has another data point that St. Anne's Belfield Academy did their entire lower school campus rebuild in 2008 to 2010 for about $25 million. Unbelievable. What do you make? Okay.
Maybe they weren't focused on natural light.
The natural light comment is so quintessential Charlottesville.
Yeah, why would you lead with that?
Why would you emphasize the natural light? It's quintessential Charlottesville. Instead say, we're going to spend, it's a $100 million price tag because we want our kids to have better quality of life, which will yield better grades, better SOL scores, and improved performance across the board.
Mm-hmm.
James Watson's got a comment, his photo on screen. I respect James Watson tremendously. With all due respect to Deep Throat, some folks may be overlooking the significance of natural light. When you walk through Charlottesville High School, for example, there are certain rooms that have no windows, and some of the other elementary schools have windowless classrooms. Modern design for workspaces at school buildings optimizes lighting because it does impact a psyche. I think the idea is if they're going to renovate the buildings, they're going to look for these opportunities, particularly since kids are not spending as much time outdoors, getting healthy experiences as we once used to. It's a good comment.
Yeah, it's a great comment.
I'm not. I respect James Watson tremendously. I'm not marginalizing the importance of natural light.
Right, but like as we said, why lead with that? Why not? Why not make it a feature, just a regular feature, and not your your letterhead.
And I also want to emphasize that enrollment is expected to decrease and performance has vastly slipped
Yeah.
with Charlottesville Public Schools. So perhaps if it was me, the money would be better spent on paying teachers more
Yeah.
so students get a better educational experience.
But Deep Throat made another good point that
Deep Throat.
Deep Throat made the good point that money is not. It's not $100 million for They're not going to spend it in 1 year. They're not going to add that to next year's budget.
Deep Throat adds this via direct message. Maybe the natural light they're talking about is Natty Light, the ice cold beer. And then he says it would take a boatload of Natty Light for me to entrust Charlottesville Public Schools with my children. Deep Throat throwing shade on a Tuesday afternoon on the I Love CVille show. The Natty Light reference, wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
$100 million.
Mm-hmm.
$100 million. $100 million. Absolutely unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. James Watson, guys, you should come to some volunteering with me in the schools this year, and you'll get to see these old buildings. I remember the old buildings, absolutely. When I was working for the Daily Progress in the sports department, I was the high school sports editor, and I spent 6 nights a week in those buildings. James is 100% right.
When I went back to Maine, ended up driving by my old junior high school, and I also spent 1 year of high school there. And man, you want to see an old building? Charlottesville's got nothing on the school that I went to.
I'll put this in perspective. On this weekend, my wife and I needed to get out of the house with our 2 boys who were parents. Are you like this? When you're at home on the weekend, do your kids misbehave and act up, and do they act rambunctiously while at home? So you look for things to do with your kids outside the house. So when you have a 7-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, you become masters or insiders of playgrounds locally. The first playground we went to, because we lived in Ivy, was the Meriwether Lewis Elementary School playground. Ivy Elementary playground. The Meriwether Lewis playground currently has been raised. I mean, I think they're completely putting a new playground in, because the playground was all taken down and it was all in one heap, piled up. All the slides, all the swings, there basically is no playground. It's a trash heap of playground equipment as of Sunday in Meriwether Lewis Elementary. So we're like, okay, we can't go to the Ivy Elementary School playground, so we went to the Murray playground. Ivy Elementary and Murray Elementary are 2 of the more noteworthy elementary schools in Central Virginia because of their proximity in Ivy. When we went to Murray, we enjoyed the front playground they had for the younger kids and the back playground by the soccer field for the older kids at the elementary school. One thing we were surprised of, and I hear nothing but great things about Murray Elementary and nothing but great things about Ivy Elementary. But what surprised us was the need for improvement on the exterior of Murray Elementary. The need for landscaping, the need for painting, the need for TLC on the outside of Murray Elementary. And it cannot be cheap to run these schools.
Yeah.
And Murray certainly was showing some of its age. And I'll leave it at that when we were enjoying the playground with our kids. John Blair, that's a great question about Cars Hill and the interim president, whether he gets to live there or not. Unless something has changed, doesn't the president have the graduates come to Cars Hill for a reception? It would stink for the class of 2026 if they didn't have that reception. Yes, I do remember that reception. Is Cars Hill going to go empty? Does the interim president get to live there? Would the interim president want to live there? He's been in this community 30 years. Would he want to live there?
Does he have to live there to have the reception?
Another great question. Travis Hackworth is watching in Danville, Virginia. Hey, they just spent $80 million here in Danville overhauling the entire high school campus that was built in the 1950s. $80 million in Danville. Leave it to Charlottesville to get the Rolls Royce or the Bentley of construction with the focus around natural light. Ginny Who, if you're equating it to the Dogwood Parade, then the presidency is disappearing as well. And that's a zing from Ginny Who on the disappearing Dogwood Parade. And she says, spot on, Deep Throat. There's not enough natty light in the world for us either. Deep Throat says, kidding aside, my wife was a public school teacher in New York City for a few years, and she would say she would have foregone some of her salary to not have to work in a total dump of a facility. Mouse-infested temporary classroom. So I take James's point that you don't want to consign kids or teachers to depressing campus. That said, who let it get to this point, and are we entrusting the same people who allow this to happen to play with $100 million and expect a different result? And to add more color to this, to add more to this storyline, this is an example of why the Federal Executive Institute was a terrible play.
Yeah.
For the city manager and the superintendent in the public school system to pursue, aggressively pursue, and then politic when they were given something and then had to take it away. For them to aggressively pursue the Federal Executive Institute shows, from my standpoint, not a true grip on reality.
Yeah, we keep hearing about things like, we need to completely renovate Walker and these other elementary schools, and now they want to spend $100 million on the high school, and we've got the jail that the offers went way over, and why are we not? I get that these buildings are not. They're not modular. You can't just pick a room and update it. But yeah, shouldn't we be working on this over time rather than leaving it until it's, a dire need?
I guess my point is this. We have 24 doors in our portfolio, 24 rental properties. We have a crew, Manuel's crew of 5 to 7 guys, actively upkeeping and managing the properties. And when they're not doing it, small task you are taking care of.
Yeah.
And it takes a team of people to do this, to keep them up to speed so they're of market standard for occupancy and to maintain a 5% escalator every year with rents. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Imagine what Charlottesville Public Schools is going through with what they have. It's just a tremendous responsibility. Mm-hmm. And if you're not focused on it constantly, it's going to deteriorate. And it's like your health. If you go years without going for a physical and your cholesterol levels are high, or you miss 2 colonoscopies when you have a history of polyps and you're supposed to go every 5 years, your risk of health concerns is compounded. Same with maintaining the real estate. Mm-hmm. You go years without doing it. Someone we know, we won't utilize his name, a vendor of one of the public school systems, has indicated that they were pushing maintenance tied to the public schools.
You mean deferring?
Deferring maintenance. Till finally, after years of deferment, the idea was to get back into business with this particular client of ours.
Yeah.
And it was past the point of no return with the machinery they had that was deferred maintenance.
Right.
So it costs more to replace the machinery than it was to just maintain the machinery.
Yeah.
Like an HVAC service contract. Mm-hmm. Next headline, what do you got?
Guadalajara.
1.4 million. I think this is a fantastic opportunity. I hope Johnny Ornalis is watching the program.
No doubt. That's a great location.
I love Johnny Ornalis and his family. Mm-hmm. Absolutely love Johnny Ornalis. disappointed that the Guadalajara on Fontaine is closed.
No doubt.
For $1.4 million and asking price, and let me know if you're interested, the Guadalajara and Atlas Coffee can be purchased. The Guadalajara is 2,285 square feet. There's parking. It's a freestanding business located on Fontaine, right down the street from the Paul Manning Biotech Institute. Atlas Coffee is a beloved coffee shop in a space that's the size of like a spare bedroom. This is a completely turnkey restaurant in Guadalajara. In a traffic count corridor that's probably 10,000 to 20,000 cars a day easily. Are there headwinds for food and beverage? Yes. Headwinds for sit-down restaurants? Yes. A family like the family that owns Guadalajara has multiple other locations. They chose to close this one and sell the real estate. Mm-hmm. Are you going to have to innovate and come up with a different strategy than just opening your doors and serving people food in sit-down setting? Probably.
That should always be the case, though.
Agreed. But $1.4 million for the Guadalajara and the Atlas next door is a good price. Conan Owen watching the program. Let's give Sir Speedy some love. Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. Conan Owen is the CEO and the owner of Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. He's a Darden School graduate, Conan Owen. If you have a logo and you need visibility, Conan Owen and Sir Speedy are who you call. They did the step and repeat banner that's directly behind me. Direct mail campaigns, window decals, signage, stickers, trifolds, folders, any kind of marketing collateral for your logo. Sir Speedy of Central Virginia, locally owned and operated. He says the Plaza Azteca folks should buy it.
They moved.
They did move.
And I was recently in the in their old spot.
Visiting whom?
Checking out the Pier Bar and Grill.
Oh, the seafood joint.
Yeah.
Was it good?
It's a Cajun place. It's okay. It's pretty good.
You went with your family on Sunday?
Yeah, just my dad.
Okay. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Okay, better question, did he enjoy it? He's got a tough standard. Your silence says a lot.
No, he enjoyed it.
He's a tough critic, is he not?
He's a very tough critic. My dad's got to have his fries almost burnt to a crisp, and
if not, he sends them back.
And he didn't send them back, but they weren't burnt to a crisp. I think sometimes he understands the futility of his
demands,
eternal search for perfectly crisped fries. But we both had shrimp, and mine was great.
There are a lot of restaurant vacancies out there.
I question them going with Cajun, and they didn't have any soup on the menu.
I question the seafood focus.
Yeah.
When we counted 5 seafood restaurants that are out there in the area. Bonefish, Public Fish and Oyster.
Bonefish is
it's a chain.
Bonefish is a chain. Public Fish and Oyster doesn't
is
open
the gold
for lunch.
standard.
It would be if they open for lunch.
Bonnie and Reed, I don't think it opens for lunch.
I've never been to Bonnie and Reed.
So Downtown Mall?
What's that?
On the Downtown Mall?
Oh, I know where it is.
What are the other seafood spots? Pierre's?
I mean, we decided there's a little bit of in what actually counts as seafood, because everybody's got some seafood on their menu.
No, but Pierre's is seafood focused.
Yeah.
We're not counting Anderson Seafood Market or Crozet Seafood.
Unless you want to just walk up and order.
Those are markets.
Yeah.
My question was the focus on seafood specific. And if you're following the Dirty Aces progress, they got this red. It's very curious, the connotations or the motif they've chosen with the business. Dirty Aces has buxom beauties on their signage, and buxom bikini-clad beauties on their signage. and they've chosen a red neon light to dawn the exterior of the restaurant, giving vibes of the red light district.
Oh, nice. It's classy.
A buxom, bikini-clad beauties on the signage, and red light neon lights on the exterior of the building. They are very nearing opening. I wish them nothing but success.
I can't wait to check it out.
Nothing but success. Guadalajara, 1.4 million, 2,285 square feet. The Atlas coffee included in the deal. Judah Wickhauer, the next headline. Is that the final headline?
That is UVA football roster.
This came up on the Jerry and Jerry show this morning. Jerry Ratcliffe citing sources close to the program, and the guys covered the football program for more than 50 years. No one knows Virginia athletics better than the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer Jerry Ratcliffe. He said his sources say the price tag to assemble the current football roster is between 20 and 30 million, and his source said it's closer to 30 than 20. So that puts it above $25 million. To assemble the Virginia football roster, ladies and gentlemen. More than $25 million to pay kids to play in the orange and blue. And the football team is struggling to sell tickets, so much so that they've partnered with Costco, where you now can buy a 2-game pack of tickets on the checkout aisles of Costco, right next to the Yikes Stripes fruit stripe gum, the National Enquirer, the king size Reese's peanut butter cups, and the Haribo green gummy frogs with the white underneath on the gummy.
Those are dangerous.
Those are good. I can eat an entire pack of those.
Oh, man, I would not do that.
So could my son.
I've heard
Our
stories.
son. $25 to $30 million for the Virginia football roster, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely bananas. A wild time we live in.
No doubt.
That's the show. If you need office space, reach out to us. Varying in size and price from $350 a month all the way north of $2,000 or $3,000 a month. Reach out to us and we can connect you with the office space that you need. Our team at Charlottesville Business Brokers is absolutely crushing it, folks. We are crushing it. Thank you kindly for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the I Love CVille show. Judah Wickhauer, Jerry Miller. So long.